From the outside looking in, it's easy to assume that celebrity relationships are coated in glamour, luxury, and endless Instagram-worthy moments. But what we're witnessing right now with Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker is a reminder that even the strongest-looking unions can crumble under pressure. Today's story has been unfolding like a full reality show season arc, filled with emotional highs, crushing lows, whispered rumors, and enough alleged twists and turns to fuel every group chat in Atlanta. And now that the two have officially decided to divorce, the internet is working overtime, trying to decode what really happened. Because this isn't just any breakup. This is the split of one of reality TV's most famous power couples, and the streets are hotter than candy-coated gloss trying to figure out the truth. Before we jump into the theories, let's start with something universal. Going through a divorce is hard, and Kandi herself admitted that she's been up and down emotionally. One moment, she's trying to keep herself busy, spending time with friends, working, pushing forward. The next moment, she's overwhelmed with sadness. That's real, that's human, and that's the part we sometimes forget when we're watching the drama play out through headlines and social media. But even with all that empathy, people are still asking the question no one can let go of. What exactly broke this marriage? There's no shortage of theories, and honestly, each one sounds more dramatic than the last. Some people believe the alleged open marriage situation finally swung further than either of them could handle. Others say Todd may have been unfaithful, although nothing has been confirmed. Then there's a segment of fans insisting that Kandi simply got tired of being the family ATM, especially since she's always been the major breadwinner since long before Todd came into the picture. And of course, there's the practical side of it. The couple's lifestyles had them constantly in different states, juggling kids, businesses, and filming schedules. At a certain point, it started looking less like a marriage and more like a long-distance situationship with tax benefits. To make matters even more eyebrow-raising, Kandi once openly admitted that she and Todd were only intimate about once a week, and the internet had a field day with that one. Once a week, fans joked, "Girl, that's not marriage, that's a gym membership." But no conversation about Kandi and Todd is complete without discussing the woman who has been a controversial figure from day one, Mama Joyce. The one-liners alone could fill a whole season. Mama Joyce has never been shy about expressing how she feels about Todd, even calling him an opportunist, claiming he was only with Kandi for her money, and dragging his family background on national television. She's been lurking in the background of this entire saga, ready for the "I told you so" moment she's been hinting at for years. And believe me, fans have not forgotten the long list of times she clashed with Todd, accused him of using Kandi, or implied he wasn't good enough. So naturally, one of the loudest questions online right now is, did Mama Joyce finally get what she wanted? Did her constant doubt and disapproval chip away at the marriage until Kandi simply couldn't keep the peace anymore? But here's the thing. As juicy as the family drama is, the legal side of this divorce is where things start to get messy. According to reports, Todd allegedly didn't want to be the one to file first because he plans to seek alimony. And under Georgia law, when one spouse makes significantly more money, like Kandi does, with her restaurants, shows, royalties, and long-term income streams, the courts can absolutely require the higher earner to pay. There's also a claim that Todd no longer has stable housing since selling his New Jersey apartment, which could strengthen his request for temporary financial assistance during the proceedings. This adds a whole new layer to their split, because while Kandi has a prenup that protects everything she had before marriage, homes, companies, royalties, assets, anything put into joint accounts or earned during the marriage could still be up for division. And if that wasn't enough drama, reports say Todd is considering going for full custody of the children. Meanwhile, Kandi has requested joint custody. Custody battles can get brutal, and this one has the potential to spin off into a whole separate storyline. To understand how complicated this really is, we need to go back to where it all began. Kandi and Todd met in 2011 during the filming of RHOA Season 4, where Todd was working behind the scenes as a producer. On a cast trip to South Africa, he began pursuing Kandi, even though he knew it could put his job at risk. But love was in the air, literally. Kandi later revealed that during that same trip, a healer told her she'd be seeing wedding bells and that her future husband was already with her on the trip. Whether you believe in spiritual signs or not, the prophecy ended up being true. They dated, they fell in love, and Todd proposed in 2013. By 2014, they were married, and fans thought they were witnessing the birth of a new reality TV power couple. But now, more than a decade later, Kandi says that after a lot of prayer and reflection, she made the difficult decision to move forward with the divorce. She emphasized that even though this is an emotional time, her focus is on protecting her peace, being the best mother she can be, and co-parenting with love and respect. She also asked for privacy and grace as their family navigates this transition, a request that sounds simple, but we all know the public doesn't always honor. Kandi later admitted during an Amazon livestream that the idea of divorce had been on her mind for a long time, and despite the hurt, she stressed that her priority will always be co-parenting the right way. She said, "No matter what Todd and I are going through, we are parents together. We have beautiful children together. We are trying to make this transition as smooth as possible for them." Still, fans cannot help but speculate, especially since the official divorce petition states that Kandi and Todd have been separated since July 15, 2025. But separation doesn't just happen overnight. It usually comes after years of problems that have been ignored, discussed, or pushed aside in hopes things might improve. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the open marriage rumors. Kandi has been very open about her fluidity and about the fact that she and Todd occasionally introduced third parties into their relationship. She even confirmed that they had a threesome within the last 6 months. Some fans believe that this arrangement may have blurred boundaries or created strains that eventually contributed to the downfall of the marriage. The internet even circulated a theory that a woman named Fatim Alfred may have been their third, pointing to the many trips and hangouts Kandi, Todd, and Fatim shared. While nothing has been confirmed, theories like this have fueled heated debates about whether alternative relationship structures can survive the pressures of fame, distance, and business. But beyond intimacy rumors, there is also the issue of their demanding careers. Both Kandi and Todd have multiple businesses, TV shows, and projects constantly pulling them in different directions. They were often in different states, operating in different time zones, and barely seeing each other. Even Kandi admitted that they were functioning like a long-distance couple, something that can chip away at connection over time. And of course, Mama Joyce. Whether people blame her entirely or believe she simply amplified problems that were already there, her involvement cannot be ignored. She questioned Todd's motives from day one, made harsh comments about his family, accused him of not being a provider, and even suggested he was sleeping with Kandi's friend Carmen. Many fans argue that Kandi should have drawn stronger boundaries to protect her marriage, while others believe Kandi's expectation that Todd always show respect, even when he was disrespected, created a no-win situation. Another layer to this is the prenup drama. When the couple got engaged, the prenup caused a huge fight because Todd didn't want to sign it. One clause required him to leave the house within 30 days of separation, something he strongly disliked. Mama Joyce took that as proof that Todd was only after Kandi's money. Allegations from Todd's ex-girlfriend, who claimed he left her for Kandi and only wanted to break into Atlanta's entertainment circle, didn't help the situation either. Over the years, Joyce has said repeatedly that she stopped respecting Todd because she felt he wasn't the provider a husband should be. However, now listen, I literally, and when I say literally, I mean literally, just finished uploading something to the members only section, casually discussing these rumors, minding my own peaceful business, eating my lunch in my spirit even though it wasn't physically in front of me yet, not knowing, not sensing, not predicting that People magazine, of all publications, was about to detonate a bomb in the middle of my afternoon. And let me be clear. The members still have more scoop I haven't even dropped yet. They got receipts marinating in the vault like oxtail. But today we're addressing what's public. And baby, the public is wild. Let me tell you what has me truly defeated about this entire situation. Because today, it's not just the story itself. It's the pattern. It's the epidemic. It's the generational curse of these Atlanta men. I'm tired. We are tired. The Black women's tribe is tired. My eyelashes are tired. My bones are tired. My scalp is tired. But you want to know what really sends me to the upper room? A woman like Kandi Burruss. A woman with literally everything: money, fame, legacy, work ethic, talent, beauty, access, opportunity, and open-mindedness, can give you access to the bag, access to producing credits, access to the spotlight, access to her, and apparently access to other women when she felt like it, and you still cheat? Are you okay? Are you medically cleared? Did a doctor sign off on this behavior? Because I genuinely need answers. Ladies, let me speak directly to anyone living in Atlanta right now. If you live in the vicinity of that airport, hold on to your man like TSA holds on to confiscated lotion. Put a padlock on his ankle. Tie his ass to the bed frame. Put a tracker in his sock. Do what you gotta do, because clearly something is in the street tacos, something is in the air, something is in the strip club chicken wings, something is happening. Todd wasn't lying when he said don't bring your man to Atlanta. He was actually providing a public service announcement, a PSA for survival. And listen, I'm annoyed. I'm irritated. I haven't even eaten lunch yet, and now I'm digesting this mess instead of salmon. Y'all Atlanta folks got me working overtime, but here we are. People Magazine. And let me emphasize, this is People Magazine, not a gossip blog run from someone's couch, released an exclusive saying Kandi discovered Todd was talking to other women behind her back before the split. And when People says exclusive, that means this thing passed through layers of editors, lawyers, verification chains, cross-checks, and more lawyers. This is not Tasha K's YouTube. This is not a Facebook auntie page. This is not Woo Media. Okay? Actually, funny enough, Woohoo Media is my official LLC, and maybe one day, maybe in 2026, Woohoo Media might be a media empire. But today, People Magazine is the one dropping bombs. Now, allegedly, and let me repeat, allegedly, Todd has had this whole Marvin alias lifestyle floating around Atlanta for years. Portia even mentioned it once. And every Atlanta blogger, auntie, cousin, Kia dealership employee, nurse, and bottle girl has said at some point that Todd might have been involved with a Magic City stripper. This has been rumored for months. Again, allegedly. Don't drag me into court. I'm just reporting what has been whispered across Fulton County. But let's talk about something that resurfaced. That old clip of Kandi and Todd talking about threesomes. Whew. Ciao. That interview clip hit the timeline again like the universe said, run it back. Let me just say this as respectfully as possible. I have an unpopular opinion about threesomes in marriages. Not in relationships, in marriages. Often, not always, but often, the dynamic shifts. It becomes more about keeping that man satisfied enough so he doesn't go outside the marriage. But let me tell you something from the Book of Wisdom, chapter Woo. If a man wants to cheat, he will cheat no matter how many threesomes you give him. You could bring in an entire marching band of coochie, a rotating cast, a season pass to the coochie amusement park. If he wants to cheat, he gonna cheat. Period. Kandi is open about her sexuality. She's adventurous, she's confident, she's expressive. That's part of what people love about her. But watching all these resurfaced clips, it is clear Todd was not satisfied in that marriage from the jump. And instead of leaving, instead of being honest, instead of simply choosing singleness, instead of picking peace, he said, let me drag this woman through public embarrassment while benefiting off her success. Because be honest, what did Todd bring into that marriage besides a beard and dreams? Kandi was the breadwinner, the provider, the talent, the business engine, the anchor holding their entire world together. And even with that, she was giving this man access to more than just her. And it still wasn't enough? Someone help me understand the math, because it's not mathin'. The calculator is malfunctioning. Let me speak directly to men for a second. If your partner is giving you her, plus giving you someone else, plus giving you luxury, lifestyle, and love, and you still cheat, you don't need a marriage. You need therapy, you need spiritual warfare, you need an exorcism, you need oil from 3 different churches. But let's pivot for a moment because I need to talk about representation, specifically Kandi's representation. Her attorney, Adama McKinnon, is not someone you want to play with.
Adama is one of those attorneys who knows the law and the streets. She's the type who will pull up with a briefcase full of statutes, but also knows what's going on in Atlanta hair salons and brunch spots. Someone said Kandi needed a powerhouse attorney. Baby, she got one. A black woman attorney from Atlanta, too. Oh, she's not just coming with legal strategy, she's coming with cultural context and receipts.
If Todd thinks he's about to run a daddy daycare storyline in court, he's going to be swiftly reminded that we have Bravo footage. We have prenup footage. We have him signing the documents against his own attorney's advice. We have him admitting to things on camera. We have clips, archives, evidence. Baby Bravo is messy but also extremely helpful. And let's not ignore the Kenya situation. Adama is the reason Kenya got kicked off the show at one point. She knows how to apply pressure. If I were Todd, I would simply comply, sign the papers, accept your fate, go forth and prosper somewhere else. Because if he fights this, he's fighting someone who wakes up ready. Someone with caffeine in her bloodstream and justice in her DNA. Now, do I think People magazine's talking to other women headline is just the appetizer? Yes. I absolutely think someone, not saying who, not assigning blame, is floating soft language now to see how Todd reacts. Because if he starts acting brand new, if he starts popping off, that full clip, that full truth, that full tea might drop. And then, Lord have mercy. Meanwhile, Kandi is minding her business on Broadway, rehearsing for Juliet. She is living her artistic dreams while simultaneously dealing with this chaos. I truly believe she thought filing quietly would be the beginning and end of it. She would file, he would sign, split amicably, and she would walk into the Broadway sunset with peace. But baby, men will always shock you with their audacity. Todd is trying to position himself like he's the victim, like he was pressured, like he wasn't aware, like he didn't benefit from the very lifestyle he's now weaponizing. Todd, if you don't log off, if you don't rest, if you don't go somewhere and pick up a hobby. But what often gets overlooked is the fact that Todd played a major role in expanding the Burruss-Tucker empire. Together, they opened multiple restaurants, launched a production company, and produced major Broadway work, including the iconic production of The Piano Lesson featuring Denzel Washington's family. Todd wasn't just sitting around, he contributed. But once tension builds in a marriage, even contributions can be twisted into criticisms. Now, as we sit here watching the divorce unfold, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. This wasn't one issue. This wasn't one argument. This was years of unresolved conflicts, unmet expectations, resentment, misunderstandings, outside interference, intense work schedules, financial imbalance, intimacy problems, lifestyle differences, and pressure from both fans and family. It's no wonder something cracked long before the paperwork did. So where does this leave us? In a place that feels like a season finale, one we all felt coming but hoped wouldn't happen. Whether it was the open marriage, the finances, Mama Joyce, the lack of intimacy, the distance, or simply two people growing apart, something inside the marriage broke long before the world found out. We're going to get more details soon, trust me. This story is far from finished. But until then, I want to know what you think. What truly caused Kandi and Todd's marriage to fall apart? Was it the family interference, the physical distance, the money imbalance, or something deeper behind the scenes? Drop your theories in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates.